Hi everyone, my name is Susie Q and I am the owner and maker of Glitter with Susie Q. If you like the content that you're seeing, please like, subscribe, and share. You can also connect with me by Facebook, Instagram, and email. Today we're going to be making this quarter wrap Teach vinyl tumbler. I am a full-time teacher and Teacher Appreciation is coming up in the beginning of May, and I wanted to inspire people to make gifts for teachers. I am going to take my sanded and prepped tumbler and I'm going to use the epoxy method to adhere my glitter. I will be using the Flynn Sisters Artist Cure epoxy to adhere the glitter. I will take a small amount of mixed epoxy and I'm going to spread it along my tumbler. It doesn't take a lot of epoxy, maybe 5 milliliters, but not a lot. Just enough in order for you to get a good coat of epoxy around your tumbler so that your glitter will stick. Once I've spread the epoxy all over my tumbler, I am then going to take Sprinkles by Glitter Chimp and spread that all over the tumbler. I am now taking my gloved hand and I'm trying to pat down all of the chunks of glitter that are sticking up on my tumbler. I'm doing this so that later on I don't have to do a ton of coats of epoxy and I don't have to do a ton of sanding because I have all these pieces of glitter sticking up. Now that my glitter is cleaned up and back in the jar, I'm going to take my tumbler and I'm going to roll it on that sheet of paper in order to again press down all those pieces of glitter so they're not sticking up. I'll then take my piece of paper and I'll roll my tumbler on it in order to press them down. I really want to make sure that my glitter is flat because it will really help me later on to not have to do 100 coats of epoxy. Once my epoxy is fully cured, I am then going to take my Crystalite glitter glue and I'm going to seal in all of this glitter. I am going to seal it in so that once I start doing my epoxy, pieces of glitter don't start sticking up. I have noticed that if I don't seal my epoxy, it takes a lot more layers. If I don't seal my tumbler and my glitter, it will take me a lot more layers of epoxy in order to get it as smooth as I need it in order to add my decals. So this is more so preventative measures in order for me not to have to do a lot of layers of epoxy later on. After about 2 hours of dry time, my tumbler is ready for its first layer of epoxy. I went ahead and I did 2 layers of epoxy and I sanded in between those 2 layers. Once that second layer was cured, I was then able to move into my decals. I used my Cricut in order to cut out this vinyl to apply it to my tumbler. I used a solid sheet of this marbled pink and purple vinyl, and it is a solid piece of vinyl up until you get to the word teach. Once you get to the word teach, the left side of the letter is gone so that you can see the glitter through that part of the letter, and then on the right side, the vinyl remained. I am using the hinge method in order to apply my vinyl. So I am taking the vinyl, I'm making sure that it's lining up on my tumbler exactly how I want to, that it's all nice and straight. I am then adhering the transfer tape to my tumbler, and then I'm going to peel away the backing of my vinyl. I will then cut a small piece of that backing off, and I will then be able to push the rest of the vinyl onto the cup, making sure that all of the vinyl sticks onto the cup. I'm moving really slowly when I'm adhering this vinyl. I want to make sure that I don't have any bumps underneath my vinyl. This vinyl is also pretty rigid and it doesn't have a lot of give to it. So I wanted to make sure that it's laying down flat and it's not poking up or getting a lot of wrinkles or bubbles in it because of its rigidity. After I smooth everything down, I then make sure that I use my squeegee in order to press this vinyl down and make sure that it sticks to the cup. I then very carefully peel off my transfer tape. I noticed that a couple of bubbles did unfortunately get underneath my vinyl, so I'm just using my thumb in order to try to press them out from underneath the vinyl. I then take the word teach and I use the transfer tape, and I am going to put the transfer tape on top of the word teach. I was not going to attempt to put teach down in one shot. I didn't think that I was going to be able to line up all of those letters and all of the lines perfectly. So once I got my transfer tape on the word teach, I went ahead and I cut out each letter individually so that I could apply it one by one. So I will make sure that I put get the letter to stick to the transfer tape, and I then apply it to my cup letter by letter. Applying the decals, I immediately went into epoxy. If I had one regret with this tumbler, it is that I did not put vinyl striping around the rest of the decal to kind of make it stand out a little bit more. If I were to do this in the future, I would definitely put little black pinstripe around the rest of that vinyl, but it still turned out really pretty. I just, now looking at it, I can see how using black would make it stick out a lot better. But I'll learn for the next time and try it again. I used probably 20 milliliters of epoxy on this coat of the tumbler. I mixed up a lot more than that because I was working on other projects, but I went ahead and I put the epoxy down, and this time I did not seal my vinyl at all. It really felt adhered down, and I didn't think that I was going to have any lifting, and I didn't have any lifting. So this time I did not seal my vinyl. The next night I came back and I went ahead and I put another thin layer of epoxy on this cup. This time I probably only did about 10 milliliters of epoxy, and this was the final layer of epoxy that it needed. I then let it spin overnight to cure. I took it off the tumbler in the morning and let it do its final curing throughout the day, and the final result is absolutely gorgeous. And here's the final tumbler. I think it turned out absolutely gorgeous, and I can't wait to give it away to one of my teacher friends who I want to show all of the appreciation in the world to with all of the hard work they do. You can connect with me on social media with Facebook and Instagram, and you can also send me an email. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. But now it's time for you to watch the video that's suggested for you on the screen. Have a great day. Bye.